Hello friends, welcome to the Tech Granth. Today we are going to learn about chain of responsibility design pattern, and we'll learn it with the help of an example for and that low level design is employee offer letter approval. So let's look into the requirement first, and then we'll talk about the chain of responsibility and how chain of responsibility will be able to help in solving this particular problem. So the requirement here is that each hiring manager has a limit up to which they can approve a salary. So if an interviewee is asking for a certain amount of salary, so the hiring manager has a limit. If the ask is more than the hiring manager's limit, then in that case the request will be delegated to someone else, which is the hiring manager's manager. So if the interviewee is asking for a salary which is more than the limit of hiring manager, employee who is manager of the hiring manager, he must approve in order to the interviewee to get hired. Now each manager has their own limit, and this process will continue till there is a manager who has the bandwidth to approve the salary. Otherwise, the interviewee will be rejected. So this is a simple requirement, and this everyone would have faced in their interview process. Let's look into how chain of responsibility will be able to tackle this particular problem. So first of all, chain of responsibility is a behavioral design pattern, and this is the first behavioral design pattern that I'm talking about in this series of design pattern video. Next is that the decision making in case of chain of responsibility is sequential. So each step, it's like a sequence or it's like a chain, and on each step you take certain decision, and based on that decision you either move ahead in the chain or you return the response from that particular step. So what it means is that on each step you create an object, or you have an object which decides whether to move ahead in the chain or you should send the response back from that particular step. So we can relate it to our example, which is the employee offer letter approval. So at each step the hiring manager or the manager at that step has an option to approve the salary limit. So if that person approves the salary limit, we will just go back from that step of the chain saying that yes, the offer has been approved and we can hire the person. If on the other hand the manager, if he rejects the if he or she rejects the offer, or in case the amount or the salary is more than the bandwidth that that manager is capable of, then in that case it will be delegated into the next step. So the request will move ahead in the chain and it will go to the hiring manager's manager. So that way you can see it is relatable to chain of responsibility, and this design pattern can solve our problem. Now the decision to be made at each step and the processing logic is decoupled from each other, because each manager, they will have their own object and their object can have different kind of responsibilities. So for example, one of the manager can have certain set of parameter based on which that person can approve an offer. This next hiring manager will have another set of parameter. For example, if the salary that the interviewee is asking for is low, so maybe the hiring manager's approval is more than enough. But if the salary is high, then maybe hiring manager has to check certain set of parameter based on which he or she will be able to approve the parameter. He or she will be able to basically approve the salary. So if the salary range is high, maybe they will look for better qualification or better degree and all those things. So they have to make their own decision based on certain set of parameters. That is the whole point, and this processing logic will be decoupled from each other. Now next thing about chain of responsibility pattern is that it seems like a decorator pattern, because if you remember the video of the decorator pattern, the link is there in the description or also on the card on the top. So there also what we used to do, you remember the example we took was of Starbucks coffee. So we used to have certain object, and then on top of the object we used to decorate it with some other object. Now this also seems in a similar way, but the biggest difference is that the decorator is the structural pattern where we add responsibility to an existing object, whereas chain of responsibility is a behavioral pattern. So here we are not interfering with the object that was originally created. It's just that there are multiple objects and they form a chain, and if one object is not able to perform the operation, it is delegated to the other object. So this is the biggest difference between decorator pattern and chain of responsibility pattern. So let us look into the code for chain of responsibility, and it will be more clear. And one more point, many of you have requested to come up with a video for how we can select a particular design pattern based on our problem. So I will first cover up all the design pattern that is there as part of my list. So I've covered the creational and structural pattern. Now I've started with the behavioral pattern. Once I will cover all the behavioral pattern, I will come up with a video of comparison of the multiple design pattern and which one to choose in which scenario. So let's jump into the code for chain of responsibility and we'll see how we can implement it. First, we'll start with an abstract class, which will be the managers class, and this will be like a handler which will be able to connect the multiple managers. So what we need to do here is that to create the chain of responsibility. So since we need to have multiple managers, so we need to have some mechanism where we can relate a manager to its own manager. So managers manager kind of hierarchy. So here what we'll create is we'll create an abstract class, and we will basically embed or we will compose the manager into this itself. So what I mean is that we'll create say protected managers, and we'll have a manager here. So why we need this is because when we create a manager's manager, so we can use this to set a manager's manager. So it will be more clear when we proceed with the code. So another thing what we need here is that an approval limit. So we'll have a approval limit, and we can have the manager's name. So manager name, and finally we can have uh, a class which will be sorry, not a class, a method which will say that public void set manager. So here what we'll do is that we'll get the managers manager, and we can see this dot manager is equals to whatever manager we are getting here. So this is just for setting the manager. So if I'm setting this for hiring manager, so I can set a senior manager as the hiring manager's manager. So this will be one method which will be used here. Next thing that I want to check as part of this abstract class is that whether I need to basically move ahead in my chain or return my response from here. So if you remember the explanation for chain of responsibility, each object that was getting created, it has a responsibility that either delegate it to the next object or return the response from there only. So in my scenario, what I need here is that I need to check whether the salary can be approved or it cannot be approved. So public void approve salary, and here I can get employee salary. So here I need to check if the approval limit that I have, or I can say this dot approval limit, if this dot approval limit is more than the employee salary, it means that I can process the salary. So what we need to do is we can create a method. We'll say process salary, and we'll pass on the employee salary here, and let us create this. So an abstract method is created here. Now if this particular approval limit is less than the employee salary, in that case what we need to do is we need to delegate it to the next manager. Now for next manager I need to check whether this next manager has been assigned to my manager or not, or this manager has been the senior manager has been assigned to the current manager or not. So we need to check if manager is not equal to null. It means that there is a senior manager for this person. So if there is a senior manager for this particular person, in that scenario, what will happen is that it is the responsibility of the next manager to approve the salary. So we'll say manager dot approve salary, and we pass on the employee salary to the next manager. And finally, else what it means here is that the approval limit is less than the salary that has been asked by the interviewee. There is no senior manager assigned to this particular manager. It means that there is no one who can approve the salary that has been asked by the interviewee. So in this particular scenario, you cannot accept the offer. So we cannot extend the offer, not accept, sorry, extend the offer. So we can just return from here saying that cannot make the offer to candidate. So this is how we have created our chain here. So in this managers class, what we have done is we have composed the manager, which will give us the next level manager. We will have a limit here, which will be the approval limit. We'll have the manager name, and we'll have a set manager class, a set manager method, which will tell that who is the manager of the current manager. And finally, the approval hierarchy, that who is going to approve the salary, whether it will be approved at this stage or in the next stage. So this does the function of creating the chain. Now we need to add some concrete class to create the managers. So first we'll create a hiring manager who will be the first level manager. So this will extend the managers abstract class. So we need to override this method, but before that what we'll do is we will create a constructor, and in this constructor what we need is that we need to embed two things. One is uh, what will be the approval limit for hiring manager, and what is the name of the hiring manager. So we will have int approval limit, and next thing is that we need the name, so manager's name. These two things are required. So here we'll set these two things. We'll say this dot approval limit is equals to the approval limit. Now this works because we have a approval limit variable here in the superclass, and same thing goes for the manager's name. So this is equals to the manager's name. And the process salary for each manager can be different, like I explained during our requirement and chain of responsibility thing, that one manager can simply approve because the salary is low. Second manager will look at a set of requirement, or he needs to consult to someone else, maybe to the HR, to decide. So all those things can be handled for each manager separately. So for hiring manager, we can put simply here system.out.print that my manager name. So we have this sorry, has approved the salary at level 1 for salary amount, and the salary amount is whatever employee salary has been asked here, so which is this. Now we'll create some more concrete implementation, and another one will be this guy's manager. So we'll have senior, let's say the next level manager is a senior manager. So we have a senior manager here, and senior manager also will have a similar kind of class declaration. So I'll just copy paste it here, and I'll make this as senior manager, and this can extend managers. So this will be level 2. And finally, let us create one more implementation, and this will be director. So let us just copy this and put it here. This will extend managers, and this will be director, and this can be level 3. So this is the level 3 approval. Now once we have all these concrete implementation, we need to add it as part of the chain. So we'll create the chain handler, let's say, or chain creator. So we have a chain creator class. So this will be basically used for creating the various beans, or the various objects first. So what this will do is we will have a public method which will return the managers, and it will be create chain, and here we'll create the various objects. So what we need to do here is that first will be hiring manager. So hiring manager is equals to, let's say, new hiring manager, and hiring manager can have an approval limit of say $10,000 or 10,000 rupees, and name is say Mike. Next we have senior manager. It is senior manager. The approval limit is say say $30,000. Oops. And the name can be uh, anything. Let's say Bill. And finally we have our director. So director is equals to new director, and director will have a limit of 50,000 USD, and name, let's say, Ayush. Now we need to create the hierarchy for each of these. So hiring managers manager will be the senior manager, and senior managers manager will be my director, and there is no one above the director for now. So that is the end of the chain. So from here I can just return the hiring manager. So this will be the first level of the chain. So the chain will start at hiring manager and it will end at the director. Now let us create our main method, chain of responsibility main. So this will have public static void main, and here we will create chain creator is equals to new chain creator, and chain creator dot you create my chain. And once this is created, so this will return me managers. So I will have a manager here, and next what I need to do is that from the employee I need to get the amount that you approve the salary for me. So manager dot you approve the salary. If suppose the interview is asking for a salary of $5,000, so in that particular case it should be approved from level 1 itself. If the employee is asking for a salary more than $5,000, so if it is $10,000, so more than $10,000 basically, because we have the hiring manager limit set at $10,000. So in that particular scenario it has to be approved from level 2. So let us copy this. So if the salary is suppose $15,000, then it should come the approval should come from level 3. If it is $45,000, the approval should come from this should come from level 2, this should come from level 3. And if it is something like say some big number which is more than $50,000. So in this particular scenario, we will not be able to extend the offer. So let us run this particular program and see. So in first scenario, Mike has approved the salary at level 1. The amount was 5,000. Second was Bill has approved because the level was more than Mike. So it was extended or delegated to Bill to approve the salary. In the third scenario, it was more than Bill's limit. So it was delegated to Ayush, who is the director. So the salary was approved by Ayush, which was 45,000. And finally, the final case where the amount is too high, in that particular case, offer cannot be made to the candidate. So this is how chain of responsibility works. It is a very simple design pattern, and it is generally used in a scenario where you have multiple objects in picture, and the work of the object is either to send the response back from there itself or delegate it to someone else. So this is the scenario where you are going to use the chain of responsibility design pattern. So that is it for this particular video. See you in the next one. Hope it was very helpful to you. Put it in the comment section if you have any doubt. I will be more than happy to answer that. So see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.